Hi guys, it's Emil. Welcome to Q&A week. Sorry this video didn't upload yesterday. I actually filmed it and everything, but I decided to randomly sit on my kitchen floor, and then when I was gonna edit, I realized that there was this high-pitched ee in the background all the time, I think from my refrigerator, and I couldn't with good conscience edit and upload that. So here I am today instead refilming the whole thing. So we're gonna start with the Tumblr questions, and then we're gonna move over to the YouTube questions. The first question is from Satellites on Tumblr, and they ask, has it been hard/weird, or what has it been like getting used to being shirtless in situations where you couldn't really be shirtless before top surgery? I'm having surgery at the end of March, and I'm worried even years after it will still feel wrong being shirtless places like men's locker room or at swimming pools or beaches. So I haven't been shirtless in a lot of public situations, actually. I mean, I'm only 3 months post-op, and it's not summer, so it's not that strange, but the most public situation I've been in is probably the changing room at my job, and that's not that dramatic. But I don't feel like it's gonna feel weird. I didn't have that problem before surgery either. I never felt weird about like taking off my shirt and having people see my chest even pre-op. But I didn't do that all the time because, you know, there's a social stigma, and there were days when I didn't feel comfortable doing that, but generally it wasn't a problem for me. A lot of people do say that, like, it feels weird. Obviously, you've lived your whole life up until that point being, like, taught that you should conceal your chest because of social norms. So I don't think that it's weird. I think it's just a matter of getting used to it and, like, internalizing that other people aren't gonna react to it in the same way as before. The second question is from an anonymous, and they ask, what is the best way to go about making friends on YouTube/the internet as a whole? Thanks, I love you. I love you too. Honestly, I think the best way is to just be chill and initiate conversations, like just talk to them. And don't like feel discouraged if you reach out to a few people and nothing really comes from it, because sometimes people just don't vibe, even if you have a lot of common interests. That's just how it is. So I think you just gotta keep at it and reach out to a lot of different people, and eventually you're gonna meet someone that you vibe well with. Or if you're on YouTube, you could always ask other YouTubers if they want to collab with you if you have a good idea for a collab. Okay, next question is also from an anonymous, and it says, do you ever face negativity or the whole "you're not trans enough" thing for liking feminine things like makeup or the way you dress? If so, how do you deal with it, and any advice from someone in the same boat? I don't face negativity offline for that, for the simple reason that I don't go out in public dressing very femininely or wearing makeup, because I'm afraid that something like that's gonna happen to me. The situations when I do wear makeup or dress more femininely when I'm not just at home by myself is when I'm with friends and we're just generally at home at a friend's place, or possibly at a cosplay convention. The negativity that I have faced, it's not a lot, but it's online. It's usually on YouTube. Surprise. It's usually in the form of comments, or just getting a lot more downvotes on videos where I wear makeup or dress more femininely. It's easy because it's not a lot on YouTube for me. It's just like, I don't know who they are, I don't know who these people are, I don't know what values they hold. For all I know, they could be Trump. Like, I don't know them, so I don't value their opinion because I have no reason to. And even if I did know them, if they said something like that to me, I wouldn't value that opinion because I'm doing something that makes me happy and they're just shitting on it. So, like, you know, I just brush it off, I just see it and I'm like, lol, and then just like, you think that's gonna affect me? You just learn to brush it off. I mean, the first couple of times I was kind of bummed out when I got something like that, and I was kind of like, oh, you know, does this not look good, or like, maybe I shouldn't have done this, is this too much? But then I'm just like, no, I can do whatever I want, no one's forced to watch this video. Like Shay says, thank you for the view. I think obviously there's a difference between when it happens online and when it happens offline, and to which scale it is. But I think, like, in terms of how to deal with it, you know, the general things, just surround yourself with people in everyday life that support you. If you are feeling bad about something, go see a friend that supports you, talk about it, or just chill and do something else. Put on makeup together with a friend if that's something that you like to do. Take selfies that make you feel good. You don't have to post them anywhere. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. And obviously, like, you don't have to put yourself in situations that make you uncomfortable. Like, It's okay if you know you're going to be going somewhere where you might face a lot of negative reactions for dressing or looking a certain way. It's okay to tone it down if you feel like you want to. It's okay to not do it, obviously, too. That's great. But it's completely okay to feel like you want to tone it down because you can't deal with it on this particular day or in this particular situation. Listen to yourself. Listen to how sensitive you are on particular days. Have a support system of friends. Yeah. My battery was literally just full and now it's about to run out, so the angle might change a little bit for you. I'm gonna change the battery, I'm sorry. Alright, I'm back. I hope that wasn't too much of a change. It's so hard to put the camera back to the exact position it was before you changed the battery, because I have to take it off the tripod and stuff. Anyway, the next question is also from an anonymous, and it says, I'm 3 years into my transition and happy. However, I still struggle with guilt from leaving womanhood behind. I feel like a quitter in a way. Is this something you have dealt with? If so, how have you coped with the feelings? Thank you for your lovely videos. Thank you. I don't feel that way, and I haven't felt exactly that way, but I felt something close to it. It was when I was first questioning whether or not I was trans. I questioned whether or not I felt this way because I just wasn't comfortable in the gender roles that are, you know, imposed on women, and if I was just like a masculine person in general. And then I did kind of feel like, what if I'm just being misogynistic? What if I'm just betraying, like, women in this community? I think what turned me around was just thinking that just because I transition and identify as a man and am being read as a man, that doesn't mean that I can't support women. I am being my true self, and in doing so, I am more strong and more capable, and I'm feeling better. And because of that, I am able to be a better ally to women. That's sort of what turned me around. The next question is also from an anonymous, and it says, can you talk about your writing, like your poetry and book? You don't gotta give anything away if you're keeping stuff secret while you work on it, but I just want to hear you talk about what you like about it and maybe your inspiration and where/when you like to write best and stuff like that. Thanks, love you. I love you too. I don't talk a lot about this on YouTube, or I haven't yet at least, but I'm writing one novel or two novels depending on how you see it. I have two planned out, sort of, but I'm trying to focus on one of them now, and I've been working on that one since 2012, so there's quite a long time. It has changed drastically since I first got the idea. It's basically not the same novel at all. There's only one element that's the same. It focuses a lot on a platonic relationship between two people who are very, very different in a lot of ways, and that you wouldn't really expect to become friends, and stuff happens, and there's a twist, and then it's sad, and and I'm sad, and I have a lot of, I don't know how much I can say, because I want this novel to be published with a publisher, like not self-published, so I don't know, I haven't looked up how much you can actually say about the project that you're working on online before it's published, but I've been working on this novel since 2012, and it's very dear to me. It means a lot to me, and it deals with a lot of things that I can relate to, so it's been kind of healing for me to develop this story. And I have it basically planned out, but the issue that I have with writing is that I'm a perfectionist, and I tend to get stuck on one paragraph or even just one sentence, and I sit working on that for 15 minutes or half an hour, and then all my energy is just drained because I've been hyper-focusing on this one thing for such a long time. I find it very hard to write drafts that are not super rough drafts, like not just an outline of the story or the scene, but just a rough draft that you're gonna polish later on, because then I feel like my writing is bad, and that makes me feel bad. It's like an identity thing. Like I identify as somebody who is able to write well, and when I read something that I've written, even if I know that it's just a draft and I don't feel like it's that good, I feel bad, and I need to get out of that, because that's what's been causing this writer's block that I've had for like 2 years now, and it's breaking my heart because I love this story and I want to keep working on it, but this writer's block is stopping me. And it's also because I don't really have a method for just sitting down to write when I don't really have any inspiration. I'm waiting for this inspiration to strike, but then it doesn't, and then other things are going on, and yeah, I just gotta make myself do it, and I just gotta get on that, really, because I love this story, and I need this story to exist as a book before I die. I just need it to exist. because I just love it so much. I can't even explain why. It's just, it feels like, this sounds so exaggerated, but it feels like it's like a little part of my soul that I just need to put out there. I can't give up on it because I just love it so much. And I've been working on it, as I said, since 2012, and it was my life for a while. So it very much is a part of me, and it very much has developed as I have developed. And yeah, I just love it so much. I could talk about this forever. I love it so much. I also write a lot of poetry. I did self-publish a poetry book once, and it's this one. Unfortunately, it's not available anymore because it had my birth name on it. I put tape over it now so you can't see it. But I published this under my birth name because this was before I knew that I was trans. And I don't have Photoshop anymore, so I can't go in and edit this cover and make it say my name now. I love these poems, so I want to put them out again sometime. Maybe redo this book or incorporate them in a bigger book or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm also really proud of the cover. I made this myself. I took this picture at London Zoo of these giraffes, and I just thought that it like looked nice. I'm very proud of this. I'm very proud that I managed to do this. It's kind of sad that I can't like show it to people anymore because it's not available because like birth name. And you also asked about what inspires me, and I think when it comes to writing fiction, the thing that inspires me the most is to read other people's fiction. When I was the most productive with writing fiction was when I was in fandoms and I was reading a lot of fan fiction. Where or when I like to write, it doesn't really matter to me as long as it's not too noisy and as long as I'm not interrupted constantly. I'm not a writer who can just go to a cafe and sit down and write, because usually there's a lot of noise and that is gonna distract me. Because I can't tune that kind of noise out. Some days I can, and some days, but those are very rare. So I need like peace and quiet around me, and I need to be undisturbed because I get in this zone, and if somebody interrupts me, it takes me like several minutes to get back in. But again, I think it's also because I focus, like I hyper focus on one paragraph or one sentence, and I think I gotta stop doing that so that I can write more and in different places. But yeah. Thank you for asking that question. It makes me happy that you're interested in something that's so important to me. I do have a poetry tag on Tumblr. Not everything on there is great, but some of it I'm pretty happy with. I'll put a link in the description if I'll remember. Alright, let's move over to the YouTube questions. The first question on YouTube is by Ollie N, and it says, how did you choose your haircut? I didn't choose this haircut particularly. My hair was just damaged, and I decided to shave it all off so that it could grow out again and just be healthy. But the haircut that I did choose, it was literally just because I had bought this, I keep forgetting what it's called, but you know, the bzzz, the machine, the clipper, you know what I mean. I bought one of those because I didn't want to spend a lot of money going to the hairdresser all the time, and I didn't have any experience with it, so I figured the easiest thing would be to just leave the top and then just shave the sides and shave the back in an undercut. And then I really liked how that looked, and it was easy to maintain and it was easy to style, so I just sort of kept that up. But then obviously I've given myself a buzz cut twice because my hair got so damaged from dyeing it so much. That was just more out of necessity than out of choosing my haircut. The next question is from PX Saver. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Probably gonna mispronounce a lot of names here, I'm sorry. Asks, if there was or is something, what were you afraid of when you started tea? And what changes don't you like about tea? The only thing I was afraid of was if I would lose my hair. So that's like my only fear, but it's definitely not a deal breaker. What changes don't you like about tea? Well, if I end up losing my hair, that's a change that I don't like, but other than that, TMI and like, yeah, the heightened libido is really annoying. I think it's calming down now. But it was like an intrusive thought, you know, it was just there and it was just annoying. The next question is from Worst Rescue Ever, and it's also about my hair. It says, do you have any future plans for your hairstyle? Color it, let it grow, or keep it buzzed? And also, what is your favorite fruit? I'm gonna start with my favorite fruit. In terms of the fruit that I eat the most often, it's banana, because I usually have that in the morning on a sandwich. I have bread, peanut butter, and banana. It's so good. And also because banana is so good on pizza. I know that a lot of you probably don't know about the concept of a banana and curry pizza, but we have them in Sweden and they are the best thing. I know it sounds disgusting, but it's so good. Other than that, avocado, forever, my avocado friend. They look kind of like aliens too, but they are so good. Avocado and banana smoothies, good shit. But also pineapple. And the hairstyle question. Do you have any future plans for your hairstyle? Right now, I actually just wanna grow it out and see how I like it. I feel like I like the aesthetic of having like, I don't know, like down to my shoulders maybe, a little bit short, I don't know. Because I haven't had long hair in a long while. Actually, I think I want it even longer than that. But yeah, I just want to grow it out and see if I like it, basically. And I don't want to dye it because I don't want it to become damaged. But I'm probably gonna face the temptation sometime, and I'm gonna try not to. The next question is from Rain, and they ask, do you think you would still make YouTube videos if you weren't trans? What would they be about? I don't know, because my life would be so different if I weren't trans. Before I knew I was trans, I did try to make YouTube videos a couple of times, and unfortunately, I'm so bummed out that I don't have them anywhere, because the channel's gone, the files are gone, everything's gone. I felt like I never knew what to talk about. I just wanted to make YouTube videos because I liked the idea of it. I think I would have like not been so into YouTube if I weren't trans. I think I would have sort of fallen out of it and maybe focused on some other type of media. Unless I'd still be into music and like I'd just be uploading songs and stuff like that and spoken word poetry. Next question is from somebody, I don't know if this is your birth name, so I'm sorry, I don't want to say it in case it's your birth name, just in case. Sorry if it's not, but you'll know who you are because you'll recognize the question. The question is, what is your favorite underwear and where did you buy it? My favorite underwear are the briefs from H&M because they're very comfortable and they are the only underwear that I've been able to pack with safely. The only bad thing is like they seem to only come in black and I want funny patterns and colors, but I don't know. I haven't bought underwear from anywhere than H&M for a long time. Maybe I should try other places too. The next question is from Emil Göthberg. I hope I pronounced your last name correctly, but you have the same first name as me, so yay, congratulations. How long did it take for your family to say the right name and pronouns? It's different for different family members, but it didn't take as long as I thought it would. Obviously there was a transition period, no pun intended, but I was really fortunate that people just really tried to change, and so it didn't actually take that long. I'm very fortunate for that. Next question is from It's Jaden21, and they ask, how did you know you were ready to transition? Also, do you believe in aliens? This is my favorite question. I've had my eye on this question. Do you believe in aliens? I'm gonna start with that one. Yes, I do. Once in school, I made this presentation proving why aliens have visited Earth and why they exist and stuff like that. Not gonna go into it, because it was like a 15-minute long presentation, but yes, I believe in aliens. I have so many thoughts, and they make a lot of sense. I could be wrong, obviously, but like, yes. The other question was, how did you know you were ready to transition? When I start thinking about things that basically give me an existential crisis. Like, when I start thinking about things that are very big and very important to me, I tend to very much hyper-focus on them. And I go through a lot of soul-searching very intensely during a relatively short period of time. So I just had a couple of months when I was literally 24/7 thinking about this. I was very methodical about it, and I like actively contemplated whether or not I was trans. I would put on feminine clothes and I'd take them off. I'd put on masculine clothes. I'd like analyze how I felt. I would look in the mirror and I would say I'm a guy and see how that felt to me. I watched YouTube videos and I was just like, it was 24/7. It was so intense. I went through all of my doubts and all of my questions kind of methodically, and I didn't let go of them until I had found an answer. So once I'd realized that I was trans and this was how I identified and this was what I wanted, I never looked back and I never doubted that. Not seriously anyway. I was like, oh, well, I could, potentially, just reminding myself that I could potentially not go on T or something like that. Then I'd be like, we've been through this, you know that you want it. So I think it was just that very intense period of soul-searching and analyzing my own emotions and thoughts. I think that's what made me get rid of so many doubts and what made me so sure of what I wanted to do. The next question is from Tully Dickens, and they ask, any tips for trans guys trying to embrace their femininity while still being viewed as a man in the public eye? If you maybe haven't experienced a lot of changes on T, or you're not on T and you don't pass well, pass. I guess the tip I would give is to, because a lot of us have dysphoria that fluctuates from day to day, listen to your feelings. Listen to how you're feeling on a certain day and identify what weighs heaviest. Because on some days, being misgendered and the discomfort of that might weigh heavier than your will to express yourself the way that you want to express yourself. So on some days, you might, like for your own emotional security, you might want to dress more masculine, but on other days, you might not be as dysphoric, and like being misgendered might not hurt you or affect you as much, and so you feel like you can put on makeup or put on something feminine and, you know, express yourself a little bit more the way that you feel like you want to. Just listen to your level of dysphoria, listen to your emotions, and go with what you feel would make you feel best on that day. Just do what would make you feel best is the short answer, I guess. Next question is from Ringstad Schoffler. Again, sorry if I mispronounced your name. And they ask, what's the last book you read? The last book I read, where did I put it? Maybe it's this one. Yeah, here it is. This is the last book that I read. It's called Inventing Human Rights by Lynn Hunt, and I read it for uni. It's about how this person theorizes that novels influenced the sort of development of the idea of universal human rights. It's very interesting. It's not that long, as you can see. It's not very thick. It's good, and it was kind of an easy read too. It didn't take a long time to read through it. Okay, the next question is from BQConMQN, and they ask, how is it possible to be as attractive as you are? Well, you see, it's all about angles. You know, when you're like lying in bed and you take up your phone camera and it's in selfie mode, that sort of egg shape that you have, where you kind of look like a thumb, that's the angle you gotta go for. Carl Horton asks, my long-term partner for 6 years has recently told me that she feels like she may be asexual. Any ideas or tips or thoughts on how I can support her in our relationship? I think, as with pretty much any other situation in any other relationship, you just gotta communicate. Being asexual can mean different things for different people. For some people, it just means that they don't experience sexual attraction, but that they very much like to have sex, or that they are fine with having sex. And for other people, it means that they don't enjoy having sex and they might never want to have it. Ask her what being asexual means to her. Ask her how you can support her. And yeah, communicate. Kai Kapersky asks, what do you feel about cis curiosity? If you mean cis curiosity as in like when cis people find out that you're trans and they like start asking you invasive questions about your genitals or what surgeries you've had and stuff like that, I feel like it's definitely annoying when it happens, but also a lot of people that react that way, they don't mean anything bad. Obviously there are probably people that like, they ask you those questions and then you're like, oh, that's kind of offensive, I don't want to answer that question, it makes me uncomfortable, and they're like, why, blah blah blah, and they don't respect that. I think that's really shitty. I think that's a really shitty attitude towards people in general, and it's like, that's transphobic. But some people, especially in my experience, if they ask you those questions, then you're like, I know you don't mean any harm, but I'm really not comfortable answering that. A lot of people are just like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I don't immediately get angry at people who ask me those questions, because I know that a lot of people just genuinely want to learn more, and a lot of people are open to learning what questions they should not be asking. I think cis curiosity in that sense is mostly an effect of how society is, not an effect of how individual people are, necessarily. Seth with the guitar asks, what advice would you give to someone who wants to start doing what you do on YouTube? I'm struggling with the notion of having to edit myself with how dysphoric I feel in my voice and appearance at the moment, but I'd really like to catalog my experience and get creative again. Keep up the great work. Thank you. I would say that you don't have to edit. If it makes you that uncomfortable, you can just film a video, and I think it's always good to watch it back just to make sure that what you wanted to get out really came across the way that you wanted it to, and then just upload it. You don't have to edit it. I've seen videos that are completely unedited that are really, really good, and I've seen videos that are very edited that I didn't really like very much. So editing is not necessarily a requirement for quality. The next question comes from somebody called Andy, and they ask, how should I tell my mom that I've been introducing myself with a different name than the one she gave me? My friends pretty much call me Andy, and I like it a lot more than my birth name, but I don't know how to tell her. Should I say it's a nickname? Should I just let my friends call me Andy in front of her and see what happens? Thanks for the help. So I want to be very careful about answering these types of questions because I don't know your mom, I don't know you, I don't know your situation, and I don't want to give you a piece of advice that then ends up putting you in a bad situation. I think definitely that this nickname, if your birth name is the one that you have as your YouTube, like, profile name, what's it called? I think that Andy would definitely pass as a nickname for that name if you say that, oh, my friends just wanted a shorter name to call me, and so they went with this, and I just go with it, you know, I like it, and that's why they call me this. So I think you could definitely just say that it's a nickname if that's what you want to do. But this is a decision that you're gonna have to make on your own. The next question is from Damien Isaac Leva, and they ask, it's a kind of long comment, so I'm just gonna shorten it down for you. It's basically about using feminine perfumes and feminine things, basically, and when people question you about it, at the end they say, I feel terrible for saying I'm just gay instead of trans, but it's also for my own security, but it's so conflicting. Do you have any similar experiences or any advice? Thank you so much, you're great. Thank you. This is a very interesting question, and it's kind of hard to answer. I think it's different how we deal with this, but I definitely feel you. I definitely feel you. I don't think that you should put yourself in dangerous situations if you think that it could, like, potentially lead to you experiencing something very uncomfortable. You are not any less proud of being trans just because you don't go around telling everybody that you're trans, even when given the opportunity to. Doing so doesn't mean that you're ashamed of being trans. You don't owe it to the person that you're talking to or to the trans community to come out and say that you are trans, even when given the opportunity to do so. You don't have to feel like that's something you should do. You should only do it if you feel like you want to, in a situation that you feel is safe for you to do so. And in situations where it's not safe to say you're trans, it's totally okay to just say that you're gay, even if that's not how you identify. It's for your own safety, and it's not your fault that society is the way it is. It's not your fault that you have to say that sometimes. I hope that helped in some small way. Those were just my thoughts, but I hope you could take something from that. The next question, and the last question, is from Faster PR, and they ask, thoughts on National Geographic's Gender Revolution issue. I have only seen the cover. I haven't read it, unfortunately. My reaction was basically just that it's cool that a magazine as big as National Geographic did this whole thing about trans people and, like, gender non-conforming people, the way I understand it anyway. I think it was just really cool, but as I said, I haven't read it, so I can't form any further opinion on it until I have read it. Thank you for all the questions. I hope I answered them in a good way. As I said, again, I hope you don't mind this video being out a little bit late, but it's probably better than having that annoying high-pitched noise in the background. I hope you're having a good day and a good week, and I will see you next week. Love you. Bye.